And we're back, and today's special guest is Dr. Don Betts, President of Northeastern State University, and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jerry.
Glad to have you here today. We wanted to take an opportunity to talk a little bit about kind of the year in review. We're just finishing up commencement both here in Tahlequah and Broken Arrow. Just all sorts of exciting things have kind of transpired this year. Locally, from a community standpoint, visually, the campus just has really evolved into this beautiful place that people can gather.
Well, you know, it's always been a favorite place for people in this part of the state. Most people referred to Northeastern State University for years as the most beautiful campus in the state. And I can tell you that many of our other institutions across the state have worked very hard to plus up their look, and appropriately so for the people that they serve. But there's a certain natural beauty here combined with the historic legacy that gives us a special view of what we're about. I'm very pleased with what's happened in terms of the overall physical look of the campus, particularly up the academic core of the campus, starting from Muskogee Avenue. There have been a number of changes, and about every night as I watch people bring their families and their pets and make their way around on foot, et cetera, I'm reminded that this is a gathering place, just like it should be, for people who are students or faculty or staff, but many people who are just residents of our community or visitors. So just to kind of review, if you come off Muskogee Avenue, there's a new gateway entry sign, which has a water feature cascading off both sides.
And it's beautiful.
It is, and people have a tendency to take pictures there, which is wonderful. On the front, Northeastern State University in English and Cherokee, and two replicas of the university's logo, which is a unique one in higher education because it includes both the establishment of Northeastern State University in 1909 as an Oklahoma institution for higher education, and importantly on the inner circle, the Cherokee Seminary is established, of course, by the Cherokee people in 1846, and then a side view of the great educator Sequoyah. So all those features come together on the front. On the back, as you make your way up the walkway towards Seminary Hall, we have this iconic statement which says, "Be the change," which we borrowed readily from Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes, we did.
But it's a phrase that really captures part of the spirit of the institution, that we are here to learn, but we're also here to serve and to make changes and have an opportunity to be leaders in our communities, particularly in these communities in eastern Oklahoma and obviously beyond as well. But we have a special responsibility and opportunity here in the eastern side of the state. Then as you continue north, you walk under the historic arch, which we established as the replica back in 1988 when it was the 100th anniversary of Seminary Hall. You pass through that into Centennial Plaza, which is a beautiful place. We talked about it before. Statue of Sequoyah, 7 clans being represented, and the 7-pointed star, which is lit up beautifully at night, incidentally. And then if you make your way through, proceeding north, you end up at the doors of Seminary Hall, which needs no introduction to anyone.
And here we are today in this beautiful
Exactly,
building.
you know, and people that are not from this part of the state, I love reminding them that before there was an Oklahoma, this was here, and before this was here, there was its predecessor at Park Hill, but education going on here a full 63 years before the state was incorporating and creating this particular institution, Northeastern Normal. So we have a 101-year history as an institution of higher ed for Oklahoma, 164 years as an institution of higher education. And importantly, as you know, Jerry, this is a very significant historic place for women's education, that women were being educated here with a curriculum designed for Eastern prep schools, and I mean Eastern schools of finishing schools like Mount Holyoke, et cetera, when there was no education for women at this level anywhere west of the Mississippi. So when I look across at our number of graduates, and many of them, more than 50%, are women, I think about the legacy as their forebearers came across and collected their diplomas and taking a phenomenal curriculum, which included Latin, Greek, French or German, full range of mathematics, chemistry, literatures, et cetera. This was not a sewing circle kind of curriculum, and I'm very proud of that, and I think Northeastern State University, as the successor to those seminaries, plays an important role. So if you're even a visitor, and once you get up to Seminary Hall and you turn around and look back, you can see a full sense of this is a place that people like to be. It's a place in this particular corridor of tranquility, except if you're out there during class changes. Yeah. And then, of course,
then be careful.
Many of our thousands of students make their way across. But yeah,
right.
it's a great place.
Well, it's a beautiful area, and it's become truly a park-like setting. that the community is invited to come through and visit daily and on weekends, special times with their friends or family.
Right.
What and other places on campus that as the public's driving through and coming to events, and we've had so many on this campus, but the Performing Arts Center, it's continuing its renovation. That's going to be a significant, actually, investment in the community, because that building doesn't just serve Northeastern's campus.
No, it doesn't. You know, it's an old, venerable set of 3 buildings that were put together, cobbled together between the early 50s to the late 60s. And my predecessors did a wonderful job in trying to preserve a number of the older buildings on campus. This building has had a substantial reinvestment. We're trying to upgrade the areas for education and for practice rooms, et cetera. The HVAC, which probably was put in the 50s.
Yes.
But the piece you're talking about is a 1,000+ seat theater we have called the Center for the Performing Arts that we brought back online probably in January of 2011. And we can begin to hold many of our Galaxy of Star programs there, special speakers, et cetera, because 1,000 seats in that forum gives us a good place to gather together not only the university community, but the larger community as well. That's one building. Of course, the Business and Technology College has been recently renovated as well, the Case Building, the Center for Admissions and Student Enrollment. And then sandwiched between the University Center and the revitalized Business and Technology Building is going to be Second Century Square. And this is an area where the Garrison Fountain is currently there, but much of it was filled with brick planters that we had put up back in the 80s we needed to sort of take down. And so the area is being reinvented, and it'll be a great place for gathering, a Wi-Fi opportunity, people to sit outside and enjoy, and a natural flow place from those people who live in our residence areas making their way up onto the academic side of the campus.
So marvelous improvements internally for the university, but all of these seem to capture the spirit of the community, that there's a place for people, the place does matter. And we hope it continues to matter and welcome more and more people as the construction and renovation projects are completed and more utilization of our facilities.
Well, you know as well as anyone, Jerry, the roles that you've played in this community, et cetera, that Northeastern State is a gathering place. And we are reaffirming that role, whether we're gathering people from the community, the region, the state, or beyond. This is a place where we want to bring people together to be able to discuss ideas, to exchange views, and more importantly, or equally important, is to get together to figure out how to serve the communities that are around us, because it's the translation of what we do here into what we do for people that I think makes a big difference.
And we've got just a couple of minutes left in this segment. We'll come back for another segment in just a minute. But let's talk just a minute about the outreach of the university. And it involves so many different people, faculty, staff, students, support people all through the system that are reaching out to the campus community, but also reaching to communities here in Tahlequah and other places. We've just got such marvelous activities going, and the outreach is amazing.
Well, and you understand this as well as anyone. I mean, it takes 100 different forms. You have faculty and staff that are active in this community and surrounding communities. That's the obvious one. We have events like the big event where our students proceed into town this year. Almost 800 students participate to give a day of service. We have students that are actively involved in Habitat for Humanity and faculty as well for years, both in town and Tahlequah, but also in surrounding communities, because we see ourselves as a regional oasis, an educational oasis or a hub. Those points are really important. But I think what's the driver here is the underlying philosophy and rationale. What is the mission of this institution? And we believe that it really is to be this catalyst for opportunity and change for individuals, but it's much more than just a personal benefit. It really is to create a public good. And when our students and our faculty and staff are able to connect around common projects, then they are enriched in the process, but also others are helped as well. The list is very long, and we've got to have a segment sometime where we can just talk about outreach, because I know the College of Optometry and different student groups and Relief to Haiti, and the list can go on and on and on. And I think all of those groups need to be recognized, because I think people would be surprised at the scope and range of the outreach.
We're going to come back in just a minute, and we'll have some discussion about charting our second century here at Northeastern State University with our guest today, President Dr. Don Betts. We'll be right back.